9 years ago, Tony walked into his doctor's office and got the news nobody wants to hear. You have stage 4 mesothelioma. Get your affairs in order. You have 2 months to live. His doctor told him to eat burgers, fries, take morphine for the pain, and basically wait to die. But Tony's alive today, 9 years later. Here's what's crazy. He didn't do chemotherapy. He didn't do radiation. He didn't go eat junk food either. Instead, he did something different. Something a lot of doctors don't talk about. Before I show you exactly what Tony and some other long-term survivors did, let me be clear. I am not saying you should avoid conventional treatments. I am not telling you to ignore your doctors. Anyone who promises that they can cure mesothelioma is lying to you. Before making any changes to your treatment plan, always consult with licensed healthcare providers. The standard of care for mesothelioma is still surgery, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, and radiation therapy. What I am hoping to do in this video is show you how to think about expanding your treatment options. I'm going to show you some of the strategies that helped Paul Kraus survive for 27 years, that helped Lewis beat his quote terminal diagnoses and achieve complete remission, and what helped Tony prove his doctors wrong. Hi, I'm Deborah from SurvivingMesothelioma.com. We've helped over 18,000 mesothelioma patients over the last 20 years. And here's what we've learned. The patients who survive the longest are the ones who take an active role in their survival journey. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you the 3 questions that every survivor asks their doctors that most patients never think to ask. Where conventional wisdom about mesothelioma treatment is limited, and most importantly, what long-term survivors have done that help them make a difference. But first, you need to understand something crucial about survival. Here's the reality that nobody talks about. The moment that you get diagnosed with mesothelioma, it feels like you've lost all control. You feel torn and scared, and everyone has an opinion about what you should do next. But here's what's interesting. The patients who survive the longest are the ones who exercise some control over their care. And this doesn't mean they don't listen to their trusted doctors, but it does mean that they also take responsibility for their treatment decisions. Let me show you what I mean. When Lewis was diagnosed in 2003, his doctors told him he had 6 to 12 months to live. They said, quote, get your affairs in order. Same thing they told Tony. But Lewis did something different. He found other doctors. In his words,
and it one door shut, I went and found 2 more to open.
And today, almost 20 years later, Lewis is in complete remission. Now, okay, you might be thinking, all right, that's just one case, or maybe he just got lucky. But then look at Paul Kraus. 27 years ago, oncologists told Paul his case was terminal, that there was nothing that they could do to cure him. But instead of accepting that, Paul started researching. He discovered that there were dozens of treatment approaches that these oncologists never mentioned. He worked with a variety of licensed healthcare professionals and then came up with a treatment plan for him. He completely changed his diet. He strengthened his immune system. He worked closely with doctors who were willing to think differently. And 27 years later, he is the longest living mesothelioma survivor in the world. Okay, here's what nobody tells you. While doctors typically focus on proven treatments like surgery, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, and radiation, which remain the standard of care, some patients also explore additional options under medical supervision. And of course, this makes the most sense when the conventional doctors tell you there's nothing or little they can do to help you, or what they have will significantly impact the quality of your life and not extend it by much. Tony Rasick, I think, put it best. He said, the doctors told me not to waste time with nutrition. They told me vitamins wouldn't help. They told me just to eat burgers and fries and prepare to die. Tony decided not to listen to this advice. Look, if you have mesothelioma and you are being told that you only have a few months to live, you have a choice to make right now. You can give up, you can just hope for the best. Or you can do what many long-term survivors do. Take more control. Speak to other doctors and licensed clinicians, and if possible, expand your treatment options. But here's the thing about that choice. Okay, that choice, being active in your survival journey or just hoping for the best, it all starts with your mindset. When Tony's family heard that he wasn't going to do chemotherapy, they freaked out. They were like, what? Oh, you're not even gonna fight it. But here's what Tony understood that they didn't. Following the conventional path isn't the only way to fight. There could be others. He knew he had to explore every possible option. When Lewis was diagnosed, he could have accepted what his first doctor told him. Instead, he just kept searching until he found the right doctor. In his words,
I had to go through so many doctors till I found one that worked for me.
that's the survivor's mindset. Here are the 3 questions to ask your doctors that many patients never think to ask. All right, number 1, what other treatment options exist beyond surgery, chemo, and radiation? And then number 2, how many mesothelioma patients exactly like me have you treated with this approach? And then number 3, can I speak with any of your long-term survivors? Now, most doctors won't like these questions. Some might even get defensive. But here's the brutal truth. It's not your doctor's life on the line. It's yours. Just look at what happened with Gail. She went through surgery to remove her entire pleura, 13 rounds of chemotherapy, but she didn't stop there. She kept searching for more options. She changed her diet. She started taking specific supplements. She implemented exercise routines that other survivors used. And then today, she's in remission. But here's what's crucial to understand. These survivors didn't just hope to get better. They took action. As Tony says, quote, each and everything that I ate, each and everything I did was fighting it. People said I wasn't fighting because I wouldn't do chemo, but everything that I did was fighting. My diet, my supplements, my attitude, going back to church, everything. Unfortunately, most mesothelioma patients only know about 3 or maybe 4 treatment options: surgery, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, and radiation. And that's it. And I hope they work for you. But if the doctors aren't offering much hope, even with these treatments, then maybe it makes sense to keep looking. Maybe there are other options provided by licensed healthcare professionals that can help. Now, before I show you these approaches, let me be absolutely clear. I am not telling you to avoid conventional treatments, and nearly all of these alternative approaches are not FDA approved. What I am telling you is that many of the longest living survivors combined multiple approaches. Before making any changes though to your treatment plan, whether it's diet, it's supplements, or lifestyle modifications, it's essential to discuss them with your healthcare team. Even seemingly harmless changes can interact with your treatments or affect your care plan. So let's look at what Tony did, okay? Completely transformed his diet with guidance from his healthcare providers, added specific supplements and vitamins, always under medical supervision to avoid any dangerous interactions, focused on strengthening his immune system, found doctors who understood complementary medicine. 9 years later, he's still out cutting wood in the snow. He's still working harder than most healthy people. But here's where it gets interesting. When Tony's doctors told him to eat burgers and fries, he did his research instead, and he discovered something crucial. Cancer cells thrive on sugar and processed foods. So he eliminated them completely. When they told him vitamins wouldn't help, he studied what other survivors were doing. He learned about high-dose intravenous vitamin C therapy, about immune-boosting supplements, about specific nutrients that could support his body during treatment. Look, I get it. Okay, this sounds overwhelming, but here's the thing. You don't have to figure this out alone. There are doctors who can help. And for inspiration, you could read the stories of mesothelioma survivors who did things differently. Paul Kraus documented everything that he learned over his 27-year mesothelioma survival journey. every treatment, every supplement, every lifestyle change, everything that worked for him, and everything that didn't. Now, of course, what works for one person may not work for another. While survivors like Paul explored various approaches, they did so under careful medical supervision. Right now, you have a choice. You can go down the path alone, or you can take inspiration from those who have already survived this disease far longer than anyone thought possible. But here's what you need to understand about that choice. Every day that you wait is another day you can't get back. And in this fight, time isn't on your side. But here's the good news. You can start taking control today, right now, and let me show you exactly how. So step one, the accept your diagnoses, but don't accept the prognoses rule. This is what Paul Kraus said. For example, when Lewis was diagnosed, doctors said he had 6 to 12 months to, quote, get his affairs in order. And today he says he's still, quote, still trying to get his affairs in order 18 years later. Why? Well, because he refused to accept their timeline. Step two, build your survival team. Okay, look at what Tony says about this. You need somebody backing you, somebody that loves you, somebody that cares for you, because that's part of it. You have got to enjoy your life. If you don't enjoy your life, what is the point of it? And that means having a personal support system from your family and your loved ones. All right, step three, find doctors who share your commitment to leaving no stone unturned. This is where most patients go wrong. They do not speak to other doctors and clinicians with different points of view on healing or treating mesothelioma. To get started, get a copy of Paul Kraus's book, Surviving Mesothelioma. In it, he recounts everything that helped him survive. He wrote down every treatment he did, every supplement, every lifestyle change, every mistake that he avoided, and he put it all in his book. And this isn't just another cancer book. This is the survival manual of the longest living mesothelioma survivor in the world. Listen to what other patients say. Tony, quote, this book was a wonderful light in the dark. Without this book, I wouldn't be here. And Lewis?
It also gave me resources on how to go about finding new ways to live and adjust my life and lifestyle. And my quality of life has been greatly improved.
And then Gail?
And this book gave me such hope and inspiration. It gave me diet and exercises and supplements and vitamins and hope above all.
Right now, you can get this book shipped to your door overnight for free. No catch, no cost. We've already shipped over 18,000 copies to mesothelioma patients around the world. But remember, the approaches discussed in this video and in this book should complement, not replace, your standard medical care. Always work with licensed healthcare providers who can help you make informed decisions about your treatment plan. So take hope and inspiration from mesothelioma survivors like Paul and Tony and Lewis and Gail and so many others, and do something right now that can help. Take a step forward this minute, now, not later, not tomorrow, not next week. Right now. All you have to do is click the link below. Just tell us where to send your book. And remember what Tony said. Each and everything I did was fighting it. It's time for you to start that fight. Click the link below. Get your free copy of Surviving Mesothelioma and take greater control of your survival journey starting right now.